we go. Perfect.
Good evening. This is the Solid Waste Committee regular meeting. It is Monday, November 28th, 2022, 4:07 PM. And I'm going to call this meeting to order. But I want to let the viewers know that this meeting is being recorded. The listing of matters are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. So I'll rise to the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So the first item on our agenda is review, discuss, act, old business, transfer station swap table.
I just don't want to put on.
So a lot of the residents that are coming to the transfer station do have good quality items that they want to swap out with other items. So I'm not sure if it's something that we can put in at the transfer stations. I know we do get points. I know also CMRK was also talking about the items that are still good. If we package it up, they'll take it back with them. So what's everybody's opinions and thoughts?
Well, I'll just throw out there that in Berkeley, we have a swap table. And what happens at the end of the day, whatever day it is that we're open, everything gets thrown into the bulky bin. And then they start fresh every day, because otherwise the pile would just keep growing and growing and growing and accumulate. So the idea of somebody like CMRK coming in and taking it all is great, but it would have, they require it to be boxed. So that would require boxes. But either way, it's manpower to take care of the stuff at the end of the day.
I was gonna say, way back when it was a dump. Remember, my father used to say you drive in with a load and come out with a load.
Yeah.
So that's, we've come full circle, but. I was there this Saturday, and as I was throwing things away, I found a nice piece of fencing that I took home. So, I mean, this is actually plausible. We should look at what do you think would be popular items? That people would, or just, we can't really say.
It really varies. Sometimes metal can be like a big one. I know I called Mr. Ferry sometimes asking if residents can take home X, Y, and Z, and example would be this past Saturday, a resident wanted to take home a piece of plywood. So I called Mr. Ferry, he gave the okay, and that was that. So there is good stuff that comes through that people don't want anymore that can be repurposed.
So in Berkeley, the table is generally very popular for kids stuff, board games, toys. A lot of craft stuff came through and like Christmas decoration kind of stuff. Like, you don't want it in your house anymore because it doesn't fit and just put it on the table. Like canning jars and stuff like that. A lot of stuff goes instantaneously. By the time you walk back to your car, it's already gone. But some stuff would sit there all day and then be thrown away at the end of the day. But
And I think once people know that it's there and what it's there for, they'll say, well, gee, I just don't want to put it out in front of my front yard. I'll just bring it to the dump and put it in there. And if anybody else wants it, they can have it. Once it gets known, I think it'd be a big thing.
Well, no, you're saying a table. Would it be more of an area? Because I mean, if you say a table, I'm thinking of something like that where you put something on it as opposed.
well, in Berkeley, it was a table.
Okay.
In Freetown, it's a shed. So they close the doors at the end of the night. But when you open up, there's tables inside and there's stuff hanging and on the floor and everything else, but it's enclosed. But just, it depends on how big you want it to be and how much stuff you want to accumulate.
Thanks, Tony. Oh, go ahead, Jim.
So here's a couple of, first, I think it's a great idea if it's managed properly, and that's the key word. Because one person's trash is another person's trash. So I see a lot of stuff being swapped or potentially put out to swap, which could lead to an accumulation of items. And that's where the management side comes in. So Todd brings up a good point. However, that leaves very little time for someone to see what's there if it's gone, comes and goes in the same day. Because we're only open one day a week. So I would be careful. I think it's a good idea. I think it can put things back into consumers' hands that are worthy of it and out of the trash stream. However, if it's not managed properly, I can see where it can get out of hand. and become a nuisance or an eyesore. Which then would be, I think, a problem not just for us as officials, but also the neighborhood.
I think another thing too, as it comes in, or maybe take a picture of it and put it on Facebook, because you know how people see things and they're like, yeah, I'd want that. They'll run down and get it. Be surprised. People are very wanting those things if they're free and they have a use for them.
Just have a live feed of the swap shed.
Yeah, does the transfer station need like a Facebook page? Or, like, I mean, everybody's on social media, like, I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, one of the things, we're talking about how, we're structuring the fees. Which the fees then go to help really, and then fees indirectly support. The hourly salary we're able to pay our employees, our transfer station employees. We know we need another employee as well. That I want to bring up at the end of the meeting as well, but. I think it's a great idea, but I think we should really focus on. Exactly how we're gonna structure the operation. And then once we decide how we decide we're gonna structure the operation, then we can decide. What things in addition to that we're going to offer and how we're gonna, how that starts to operate. I think having just the thought of having a transfer station attendant take pictures for Facebook. That's a whole nother aspect that. Yeah, it takes away from what we need to do. To deal with the CMRK program, to deal with the mattress program and other things. So again, I think. It's a great idea to consider. Once we get to the bottom of how we're actually structuring and managing the operation. At the base level, if that makes sense.
But I think we also have to talk about it so we know what's on, what we can use, what we could get rid of some of this stuff that won't go into the dumpsters and we have to pay for to get rid of. And any way we can get it out of there, we're saving ourselves money, even if it costs a couple dollars to take pictures of it and get it on Facebook. We're still saving money that way. It's not going in, that weight not going in.
So what Mike said, and you said, I think it should be tabled.
Yes.
It's not gonna affect the price structure. It could be a program that's added. We gotta clarify, are people paying to get rid of these things to put them in the swap shed? I believe Berkeley don't pay for those items.
No, but you need a sticker to get in to use
Yeah,
the swap
sticker.
table.
Still need the sticker.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of negative stuff and there's a lot of negative stuff. You don't even know what to explore on it. I mean, in the past, we've had problems trying to capitalize on scrapping metal on someone else's behalf. So we don't want people taking stuff to capitalize on something to be another revenue for themselves. Rather than.
That's true.
Right.
But if you think about it the other way, they're taking it to make money, but they're doing us a favor. We don't have to pay for it to get rid of it. But the metal, we get money for that, right?
There's an offset. It's based on market rate, correct?
Yeah.
So it's not costing us more or less to not even have a swap table. The whole concept, like Mr. Perry was alluding to, what is our objective here? So we don't want the whole taxpayers, the whole town paying for people using the transfer station. We want people using the transfer station to pay for what
Mm-hmm.
they're using the transfer station for. I think it's safe to table that discussion.
Yeah.
And let's move forward with the structuring of the fees.
We have a hard stop at 5:30 also tonight. We have another meeting here at 5:30.
Okay.
Okay.
Was that a form of a motion, Mr. Perry?
Well, I think
What do you want?
it's not a town meeting. It's important, especially like I said, we need to discuss it. So if we're done beating it up,
Just to know it's there.
Mhm.
Just to know it's there.
Yeah, I'll just throw out there that
Decision.
the benefits would be you take the product out of the bulky waste. CMRK pays us for it. RDP granted gets us 2 points, which is the equivalent of about $1,000 a year that we would get. So there's 3 benefits right there, but there's several negatives, you need bodies to work it, you need the boxes, you need covered
And
storage.
the points you get, we gotta take a good look at, is it worth trying to get those points? Because I don't think it's a large point, if I remember right. It's points, but
Right.
I don't think we gotta chase it.
I think I agree with Barbara. We should have something like that, but to Mr. Curry's point, I think that's. out
In the
into
future.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think,
definitely.
the here and now is this fee structuring and then refining that as we collect and analyze more and more data. And then, you know, something may fall out of that data, which would lead us down that road also to
Mhm.
make it a little better system to utilize. Okay.
How's the POS coming, Mike?
So that was a Board of Health article, so I haven't done anything on it yet. Has the Board of Health entertained, explored any option about who the vendors would be?
That's actually later on the agenda
Okay.
on the line.
Just want to comment on the swap table also. Great idea, positives, negatives. And it was mentioned, I believe, you need a sticker to take advantage of it. So there's another fee coming in if anybody's interested in, you know, you need the sticker to go take advantage of that table, but for the time being, I think tabling is a good idea. I would be in favor of tabling it, but I think we should get started sooner than later to take advantage of that, the extra income through stickers.
That issue that you and I were just chatting about a little bit regarding the funding, so is that going to come up here eventually or?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay,
Yeah, the funding for, I'm sorry.
well, no, we were just chatting a little bit before the meeting. And there was not a quorum.
Yeah.
It was all about board. So maybe we'll go through the agenda and then maybe I could bring it up at the end if we don't hit that
Yeah,
hard stop.
we have time.
I'll stop rather, excuse me.
Who there a motion to table the swap table?
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi,
On to the next topic. Review, discuss, act, transfer station fees 2023. Now we can do this individually with A through E, or we can do it as a whole.
I think it's all, you gotta discuss all of it before you can kind of come back to
I
the
agree.
beginning of it.
Yeah, I think
Okay. The first one we're gonna go to is the sticker price. Currently, it's 15 right now. Let's keep in mind that, you know, the economy is not the greatest right now. And well, some people, a lot, including myself, have tough times. So let's just keep that in mind before we throw out a number.
I think, I agree with, the transfer station, in my mind, should be looked at as a service, a pay-for service to the residents of Dayton. And I think you need a sticker to get in the door or in the gate, if you will. And then it's based upon what you bring in. And so I think to keep the door open, the stickers are essential, but to your point, I don't think they break anybody's bank, but once you're in the door, once you're in the gate, then you pay as you throw. That's my view, and I don't necessarily agree with raising fees.
Right.
Now, on the stickers,
Okay.
How many stickers do we issue a year?
About 700.
That's not a lot of money,
Yeah.
right? We're not balancing the budget with the sticker sale. We're certainly not covering your costs, especially since in saying that, we haven't looped in all the soft costs behind the scenes yet. So I think sticker sales is great.
Mhm.
Like Colonel Perry says, it keeps the door open, so to speak. You have a sticker, you're allowed access to use all the facilities or what we offer at the transfer station. So I don't feel that changing the sticker price, regardless of that amount, is ever going to close the loop that we have with solid waste. We're gonna have to do that in other areas. So My opinion is everybody who uses the transfer station, regardless of what it is, has to have a sticker.
Mhm.
And I think that sticker price should be reasonably at a reasonable level. Does it stay at 15? Is it reduced to 10? I don't know what that is. Depends what our goals are, but I think we can probably talk that out now and,
Yeah.
and figure it out. Reducing it, we never like to do that because we're lowering the revenue source. But if you're now going to require a sticker for everyone to come onto transfer station property, through compost, swap shed, textiles, et cetera, it might be wise to reduce it just so that you don't get any pushback from the taxpayer that they now need to buy a sticker to get on site.
Mhm.
That's my opinion.
Why even have a sticker?
Prove
Because
residency.
prove residency, yeah. You need to prove residency.
So outside of the textile that's snuck in there, you were required to have a sticker before for everything.
Right, but we've now adding services to the transfer station, and it's been discussed informally. Outside of this forum that, maybe we don't require a sticker to do the drop offs for CMAR, but. I think that's wrong. If you want to get in the gate, you need a sticker that proves you're a resident of this town and you're not coming outside.
But what? I think the sticker was covering the cost of the attendant and then everyone else was paying for the usage. What is roughly the annual? On that,
$9,200 is budgeted for the attendant right now.
right, that's not a hard number to hit.
No.
Okay.
We're at. He said we're about 700.
That's $10,500.
Yeah, so we're.
Stickers.
And actually, if it's $20 for a sticker, that's 38 cents per week. If it's $25 for a sticker, it's 48 cents per week. So if you can't spend 50 cents to get in the door to pay an attendant, I mean, it breaks down to basically nothing. It's a lot less than a cup of coffee.
However, keep in mind, we did almost double all of our other fees.
They have to be. We have no say about that. We really don't.
He's saying you're paying for disposal, so do you need to pay for the sticker? The only other thing I want to throw into the discussion is DEP is pushing for diversity, equity, and inclusion. So they would like to see reduced transfer station recycling center access fees for low-income residents and or senior citizens or veterans or whatever. But they would like to see a lower fee set for those type of residents.
Are they mandating it?
Not yet, but it's coming. Right now, it's a yes or no question right now, but
Yeah, well, until such time as they mandate it, I wouldn't even go down that road. That's
with the
me
curbside.
personally.
so right now it's just a question. There's 9 questions in this category. If we answer yes to 2 of them, we get an extra $500. So right now, again, it's all no's.
Yeah, they did curbside right now.
Well, I'm just from an administrator's perspective. How to go through jump through the hoops to prove that you're of a given age or you're a veteran or you're this or you're that. I think the administrative costs outweigh the benefits of having a multi cost sticker. And I don't think $15 where we are now is by any means unreasonable at all. I go there maybe 5 times a year. It doesn't bother me to pay the $15 at all.
Now, Mr. Urban in his analysis, I think somewhere around $40 or 45 was the average.
Yeah,
And if we're looking for money to pay for a second assistant, I mean, that's coming up to, and you really need one there.
I guess the question I was going to ask is, no, I'm sorry, I'll save that for later.
Well, I mean, in terms of assessing how we're gonna structure our fees to pay like our expenses, I have to agree with Colonel Perry. We're really right now, we're shooting in the dark on a lot of things until we have the POS and until we see exactly what the volume that we're taking in, that's being informed through the POS, but also informed through this new arrangement with CMRK. I think a lot of what we're doing, like, is shooting in the dark, and I think. Like after 6 months of having these new fees and protocol. And processes up and running, we'll be in a better place, but. Like, I'm actually, I mean, based on well, hopefully the value. Oh, like of the CMRK program will be. Oh, yeah. Oh, like in both of the curbside pickup. And both of the curbside pickup that everyone is used to, but I also at the transfer station to the books. I mean, I'm actually intrigued by Jim's idea, I mean, we can. We can expand what we offer that. Also, like on the back end benefits of the town as well. But we incentivize more people. To participate, so the revenue that we're worrying about. Like in White. Like in Whitely talking about maybe. So like we'll actually, so we'll see, so the 700 increase to. Like 850 or 900, and then basically we're breaking even with where we are now. I mean, I think there's value in incentivizing the service. So like we get more of a volume there, so we can track more of what we're taking in, and it actually could very well pay for itself that way. Yeah, just a thought there.
So I, as someone who pays for a sticker in Berkeley, it's $40 now a year. But it doesn't bother me because it's the only way for me to get rid of my trash.
Yes.
But I would say, and Mr. Ferry and I have talked about this, that if we're going to keep a low sticker price, I think we should charge for brush. A very minimal fee, but I think we should charge for brush.
We didn't decide that.
No, we discussed it. Sorry, discussed it. So Mr. Ferry doesn't see we should charge for brush or grass or leaves, and I think there should be a small fee for the use of it, because we do grind it up and reuse it, but.
See, these are the things that are gonna play out as we do more discovery. We're gonna see, what is it costing us to get rid of that compost, that brush? You have to grind it, you chip it, you have to get rid of it. These are all the things that we as a group over the next 6 months to 12 months are gonna figure out and say, okay, if this is costing Mr. and Mrs. Taxpayer who are throwing away brush, then certainly the user should bear the fee, which goes back to your point about pay as you throw. So I would have to say that right now, I'm leaning towards either leaving the sticker the way it is and allowing this to evolve organically, and by having everyone required to come in who's using the transfer station to have a sticker and keeping the price reasonable or reasonably low based on other towns, then I think, as Administrator Mullins said, our user base will go up and our overall revenues will increase. In the meantime, we haven't thrown too much at the wall to see what sticks and what doesn't, because the last thing we want to do is scare away the taxpayer and make them go back to throwing out the stuff in other ways,
Right.
Which will be at the curbside. So,
This could be something that could be addressed at the end of 2023.
right.
Once we have more, as you guys said, more data with the point of sale system and things like that.
Yeah, it's going to be instrumental in giving us the data we need to see what's coming in.
And to your points, I think up until this point in time, there have been appropriated funds used to operate the transfer station in part. I think would be wise to continue along that line in some fashion until we get 6 months, or we get the good hard data to say, this is what we really need to do in terms of stickers or whatever. Now, in our last meeting, when we looked at fees, I think we did a tremendous job based upon notional data that we all, we all knew about. Okay, we all see coming into the transfer station. And we did a great job. I think moving forward, we need to, I think, collect that data and refine it down a little bit to make those decisions regarding, for instance, appropriated funds and pay as you go, et cetera. And I think there's still some low hanging fruit in these individual items that are disposed of and with the pay as you go philosophy in mind. With all that said, I would say, I would keep the fees the same.
Keep it at 15.
Yeah. Would it be appropriate though, if the consensus, or maybe we put it to a vote and see if it passes or fails, that we also act on the requirement? Sticker requirement to get on the property?
So, like, as far as like, so right now it's just, I just asked for their registration. Is that what you mean, like proof of residency?
No, I'm saying, do we want to make a decision that anybody who uses, the Ceremark bins are coming in at the end of the month, right? Or actually 2 weeks, I think. So that's going to get through public interaction and public relations, we're going to get that out. So people are going to start using that program. So do we want to make sure that everyone has a sticker who comes on property now? That's my question.
Do you? Oh, go ahead.
No,
My feeling is if we're not gonna raise the sticker, and I would be in favor of raising the sticker, but if we're gonna start charging for everything pay as you come throw, then leave the sticker alone. And then we'll have to establish a price for leaves and brush and so forth.
Right.
The other thing,
So Jim's last thought was everyone gets charged for the sticker.
Because they use.
Now they're not.
service.
Right now, they're not.
right.
We want to clarify that right now.
The other thing from a management
Okay,
perspective,
so the sticker, we're saying would be the fee for dumping.
anything.
Access to the property,
Mhm.
Right,
regardless whether you can charge or use it, get rid of something free.
The other thing that does from a management perspective is the attendant no longer has to worry about what someone's bringing in. Everybody who comes on property needs to pay to get in. Either they pay for a sticker or they show the sticker to get on property. Not, oh, you have textiles, sure, go throw them out there. You don't need a sticker for that. Now they go out there, maybe they have something else in their car that you don't see. I'm not saying that you
No,
don't, but
Yeah.
it happens, right?
Yeah, it does.
So now me as a paying sticker person is dumping my stuff and you just got on for free. And by the way, you threw something in the other pile on your way by.
mhm,
I just think it removes all that from the equation. It's out. So from a managed perspective, it evens the playing field. The attendant doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Everybody who comes on property has to have a sticker.
So I just want to throw out there, right now, the only thing you can get into the transfer station without a sticker for is the pink bags. But the reason we did that is they're not collecting curbside, but come December 1st, they will be collecting curbside, so we won't need to make it for free anymore because there's an option for them to dispose of it, which they don't currently have.
I think it should be across the board using that property.
No, that's what I'm saying, but up until now, they didn't have an option, but come December 1st, they have an option. And so, yes, you will need a sticker to get in.
No, they have an they have to come to us either to get rid of textile. They can fix it ourselves.
They can, but yeah, it's,
Is CMRK gonna be like more reliable as far as like,
they told us they're going to be.
from pickup, because I have had complaints with the previous company that they called and they never showed up. So I just want to make sure that.
None of us have a crystal ball, but I have to say thus far, the level of professionalism has been top notch.
I can-
So I think if that follows through with the rest of the company, I think we're gonna be fine.
back to Mr. Aguirre's point, regarding a sticker to come on property. You know, we're discussing, we already tabled one issue for future discussion regarding services, robusting out the services available to town residents at the transfer station. I think it should be access to the property requires a sticker. It, number one, proof of residency. Number two, from a management perspective, you don't have to say, well, what have you got? Oh, that's over there, and you know, people hiding things. We'll do it. I think I think it's appropriate to have a sticker if you come on property. To sit now, maybe starting, when does it, New Year start? January 1st. Maybe put it into effect then.
Mr. Chairman, Wednesday evening, the Board of Selectmen had this item on its agenda. I ask respectfully if this be voted on this evening. You could vote yes, no, table, up, down, but we have a vote rather than just the general consensus.
So I'm gonna throw this in there. So the sticker, if it stays at 15, what about the day pass? The day pass is still 15, so that stay the same as 2 as well?
Mhm.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, thank you.
I would motion that the current sticker fee of $15 remain in effect next calendar year
Of 15.
of 15, correct?
And
Friendly amendment?
Well, I was gonna, the fee was one thing, and then to come on property, I was gonna make a separate motion, so we have two, they're not linked together.
Okay. I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Uh,
So we are distributing the stickers January 1st, 2023, and it's good until the end of the year of 2023, moving forward. So no longer middle of November.
well, no, we usually start selling them now for next year, but we have to wait until, well, I guess it's not, doesn't,
They're a calendar year, right?
it's a calendar year sticker, yes.
Okay.
I would now move to require anyone to require a sticker or access to the transfer station.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So then, does the committee feel like there's a reason to talk about the leaves and grass and brushes, or that just now, just kind of table it and wait until we get more
It's part
data?
of the fees.
Yeah, I think we need
That's
data
included
on
in the
that
sticker.
before I'm willing to talk about it.
Okay.
I don't have any data on that
I don't
right now, so
Okay, so we're gonna table those things.
unless Tom wants to share any with us.
No, that's part of the fees, whether they stay free or not. That's,
You don't have any hard data to share with us about how much we collect and how much it costs to get rid of.
annually, yeah, we go by tonnage or yardage.
100 yards.
Yeah.
Get 100 yards, it costs us what, 4,000 to rent the equipment?
If you needed a tub grinder, yes, want to keep that line on.
Do we do that once a year?
Compost, we utilize the compost in town. We don't pay for this.
Do we get a tub grinder once a year?
No. I want it funded every year, so we have access to it. We don't always use it.
Okay,
And then it takes DPW, highway department workers to do all the chipping,
and how much do you say we collect a year?
about 100 yards,
100 yards?
give or take. Depends on what kind of hurricanes we get and that kind of thing.
But I also think it's an issue if we don't get a tub grinder every year, leaving that brush pile on site for more than 12 months.
No, you require to chip in 72 hours.
So we're not doing that.
No, we're gonna utilize the tub grinder this year because of what happened last spring. That's too much of a mountain and too much contaminants in the pile right now. Plus, I have tree butts that need to be ground that don't go through the chipper.
So what are
It
you,
doesn't happen every year.
where are you citing the 72-hour requirement from? What's the, what-
That's DEP.
so if we're non-compliant, how, this is gonna take more logistics than we think to fix.
No, they just haven't showed up yet. They've been scheduled to come in 2 months now.
Tom, you missing the point. If you're gonna do it every 72 hours, then we don't have the money or the infrastructure to deal with that.
Yeah, we do.
Oh.
It's funded.
You're gonna
So
get-
what are you trying to say here?
So twice a
Funded,
week.
the company's been called, it's been procured. They just haven't showed up here because of their scheduling.
I think what he's asking is twice a week, you're gonna chip the brush.
Right, that's what I'm asking. So the
That's
tub
the big
grinder-
mandate that
so
we
the
don't have
tub-
the ability to do
the
it.
tub grinder gets you to no brush. But now from this day forward, every 72 hours, you're supposed to get rid of it.
Supposed to get.
How do we do that?
Once a week.
Well, we don't.
We can.
But we don't.
No, this year we don't.
Okay.
Because of schedule.
I'm not pointing the finger. at you.
No,
I'm trying to
this
figure
year we
all out.
don't. Next year, what happened last spring is not gonna happen, no more. It will be done every year, every week, like we normally do.
Okay.
Some
So-
towns just keep it to a max of 6 inches diameter
Yeah, we have like
Brush.
3 inch, I think.
coming in.
Yeah, what's in the old bylaws, we don't want that, we don't want people doing 3-foot bundles and all that, no, because that's another contaminant
That's what I
problem,
mean,
yeah.
So the stuff that's big up there now is when the highway workers are.
right,
are-
right, but I mean, coming in, we don't want big stuff coming in. Do we?
So it's,
Because that's more to get rid of.
we're already on the clock with the town.
So every time we rent a tub grinder, it's just, so it's $4,000
Take
to
the
rent.
tub grinder out of the discussion about chipping the brush.
Right, because that's only for the big stuff.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
Doesn't
but
come
the
in.
stumps and everything else.
That's. Right, that's a different discussion. We're not receiving stumps. The town creates the pre-buds.
So the 72 hours.
It's a
72
town.
for the
And
trees
the-
for station.
And then mostly
Stored, okay, I'm sorry,
You
okay.
take that line in the budget though, you have
Yeah.
access to it. As far as hurricanes.
I get it, I thought we were accepting
As
the.
far as hurricanes, that's something different. That's usually funded by FEMA. That's all set.
And
That's
and
something
we'll,
different.
we'll move on in a second, okay, but you're playing into my point exactly. If we're gonna chip brush once a week, which still doesn't conform to the 72-hour mandate. Then that is time that we're taking away from highway work with highway guys. Somebody has to pay for that. I understand that they're already on the clock, they're already on the payroll, I get all of that. But we're talking about using them for solid waste management. That means it's costing X amount to get rid of that chip, that brush.
So you're saying DEP is gonna come down on us because of a 24-hour difference?
I'm not saying that at all.
I know what it's-
I'm saying that if we manage it at a 1-week interval, which I think is more than respectable,
Right.
that's gonna come at a cost. I wanna know what that cost is, because that's what this committee is charged with, trying to figure out, how do we pay for this?
Yeah, but we're already on the clock.
It's
Tom.
man.
Yeah, but there's a cost where
Right,
I can order like for your personnel to do that,
So
for
is
leaving
that
other
gonna-
jobs
Is
alone.
that gonna come back to my budget?
we don't know how that's gonna fix yet, but we're gonna come up with a plan. That's what we need to do, get all this data, figure life out, and then we'll come up with a plan that we think is responsible, respectful of the community, and in compliance with the laws. That's what we're gonna do.
So that's what the POS system will do.
Yeah, the data may show, for instance, that it's taking 20 hours. Just to throw it on a point of illustration,
But it'll take,
20 hours a week from your personnel, that may drive another hire to take care of this and maybe something else, but the data will show,
Right.
you know, to collect the data and show if you're chipping, you're mulching and this and that you're doing may drive another manpower position.
We're currently not tracking that, and the POS would not track that, just like it's not tracking Ross.
That won't-
No, but I bet when you fill out, when you fill out the time card, you say I had to send somebody up to the transfer station to do 6 hours of chipping. Okay, I mean, that you can quantify.
Mhm.
And if you have to do that every week, you know, at the end of the year, you say, hey, so many hours were required to do this chipping job, which is mandated by the state, et cetera, but we had to do this. That may require another manpower position.
but the
I guess
POS
that's
should,
what we're
the
saying.
POS should be showing,
Absolutely.
coming it in, right? So this load,
Absolutely,
that load, how
yes.
many? So we'll know what's coming in, how long it's gonna take to
Right.
do that.
Right, and then once the POS is established, then we can bring in the data of what does it cost us to get rid of this stuff?
Right.
How much time are you spending on the chip brush? It's gonna be, we're gonna evolve, this process is
Right.
gonna evolve, but. You know, we've got a good core group, we've got a good start, we just need to let this all play out.
Sooner or later, after listening to the discussion, this committee's gonna need a budget, just like the stormwater committee did. He's gonna break out his hours and charge those hours to solid waste committee, that budget.
But we already have a budget, really. I mean, it's waste and disposal.
Right.
We're just spreading out the responsibility.
Right. What we, and I don't want to get too far down the road, but we may end up realizing that solid waste needs to be its own entity
Right.
and taken out of the
Yeah.
various different
Could be.
departments.
Or transfer station.
That might happen, but
Yeah.
we're not there yet.
No,
Pay for itself.
Just out of curiosity, did anybody look at Mr. Urban's survey?
I did.
I did.
One of the questions, I don't know if you know, is that would you pay for wood chips? That could also be a possibility too. To kind of offset the cost, instead of paying brushes, we could charge for wood chips. Because some people do take wood chips, it's not many, but just something to think about too.
Well, my initial question would be, it's a good idea, but could that come back can a public entity compete with a private entity?
We'd have to do,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you'd have to be attorney, but no, I mean,
I'm sure it'd be considerably cheaper than what.
Yeah,
The
the other thing is liability too.
right.
I don't want we don't want to increase the exposure of the town. And its residents, quite frankly, because they are the town. where we sell something for revenue and then somebody gets hurt or like that. So we want to be careful.
Liability. It's a good idea.
I think that was on the survey.
Would so that too, you know, I mean.
Put it towards your swap.
Okay,
Same thing with your compost.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna be selling hundreds of yards of this stuff anyway, so I don't think it's a revenue stream.
no.
Just like the compost pile, I seriously doubt we're gonna have 100 yards of compost.
You know, one of the
What's next?
things we
Yeah.
discussed a couple of meetings ago was, when we were talking about textiles, was, okay. If you've got 50 cubic yards of chips, wood chips. You're gonna have to pay ultimately to dispose of them. And if you offer them, you know, free,
Mhm.
liability considered. Then you're in fact making money because you're deferring the cost. Or mulch, you grind up the leaves as well, there's a cost to that, but if you don't have to pay to have somebody cart it off. And you've in fact made money or saved money as the case may be, but we're still talking a lesser amount to dispose of that. If you offer it up for free.
I do want to move on if that's okay, because I know we haven't have until 5:30.
Mhm.
And some people all have ideas too. They want to input, so. Did we make a motion to keep the sticker price at 15?
Yes.
And that everybody needs a sticker for access.
And everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ray does.
And the board of selectmen need more than that? No. Wednesday night?
No, that's perfect.
Okay, good.
Okay, so moving on. Review, discuss, act, point of sale update. I know we were just kind of briefly talking about this at the beginning of the meeting. I'm not sure how far we are as far as the
So
PO.
the Board of Health, and actually last year proposed that as like a capital needs priority. We went through the ranking in the spring, like with the then Board of Health chair. We were able to fund it at the special town meeting. And so that's where it is from my point of view. So like I did ask him one of the last times I talked to Todd right before town meeting. He was gonna reach out to the town of Hanson. Getting information about who they hired as a vendor for their POS system. And so yes, so that's where we are, but it is funded. We do have $13,000 for that. We have also talked about we do have an online permitting system called PermitLink. And we have reached out at the PermitLink as well to see if they have any technology that interacts. That can really complement what we do with PermitLink as well. So we're working on it. And if anyone from the Board of Health has any additional information as about other potential vendors for opening.
Jimmy, what does the building department use?
Permanently.
Okay, so that's what we wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
So we could be compatible?
Yeah, as long as they can.
Yeah,
I have to be honest, when I vetted them for pretty much all the departments,
Mhm.
did not include transfer station. Didn't come to mind then.
okay, so,
So we need to check with them, wait for their response, and then we can either move on or we'll work with them directly.
I think it'd probably be, unless they're too cost crazy.
They're not. I just want
Yeah.
to make sure that they have the
That's-
infrastructure to serve what we're looking for.
Right,
So-
right. Is there somebody there we could talk to or?
Yeah, I'll connect you with, yeah.
Great.
And you emailed them last month too.
I did,
So
yeah.
Perfect, yeah.
Do we have a projection for this, when it can be fully up and running?
Based on my experience with software, I would say if we sign contract today, it'd probably be at least 45 days.
Wow,
Well, yeah, but that's still not bad. I was
No, that's a lot
thinking
quicker
3
than I-
months.
I was thinking next summer.
No,
45 days, yeah.
Right, and we need to have redundancy. Paper and pencil and paper.
we have to have the option available.
Yeah.
In case the
So
system
we-
goes down.
so-
yes.
All our work can get going with Plan B until that's up and running.
Well, we already have a system for paper.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Some residents may not want, some people want to just continue what they're doing, writing checks, which is fine.
Yeah,
So we just want to make sure we have both options.
yeah.
And it's very such as case something goes down.
The only problem with that is there'll be some data entry that's required. If you're still going to accept paper, then you'll have to do some data entry because we have to quantify. Systems so we know.
right.
What we're,
But I think most people really like that little debit card.
Yeah,
I mean, it's zip, done.
do they print receipts or can it?
some systems can, yes.
They
But
usually have
typically
paper.
today, everyone's going paperless. It'll email
Yeah,
whoever the user is. So this is sort of a whole process. When you come in for a sticker, you're gonna have to set yourself up in the system through the Board of Health.
exactly.
And then once you're in, when you come in as a user, you'll be able to look that user up.
Mhm.
And then you'll see, and then that's how we track, hey, X is getting rid of 1,000 yards of brush a year. Where's all this coming from? You know?
Right,
So
right.
it's very useful. So there'll be some logistics on the backside that we have to work out once we nail down a company.
So I did reach out, another company to get a price, on a POS system. And they needed some information from the treasurer, which I got, and we've had 2 meetings that they've had to cancel on me, whatever. But I just gotta follow up with them and we should have a price very soon. How many prices do we need?
It depends on, so we need 3.
Mhm.
Yes.
Anybody else have any more comments or questions?
No, the system needs to have a printer or some type of system that will print out a duplicate receipt, because the point of all of this was to eliminate the handwritten receipts and reviewing. So, you punch in a code or even whatever mattress. It should be a code for mattress, a code, not mattress, I'm sorry, a code for half load, code for load. Push a button, prints out
Yeah,
what it was. And I believe it would have to have a printer, a receipt printer, so.
And it would also, I mean, quantify all this data that we're now collecting. I don't want to say randomly, but we're sort of searching for it, that quantify it exceptionally well,
We will need internet up there, I'm assuming, for this to work.
Yeah, that's factored into my 45-day schedule. Once we know we're doing this, then I'll have to get all that in play.
Mhm.
I'm not pushing towards a certain company and I don't even know if they can. But the nice thing about PermitLink is I brought them the document, especially with my department, because I have state permits that I need to follow. And they put this permit in here electronically, fully interfaceable permit electronically, that is a mirror image to what my state permit paper copy is. That means if this committee can come up with a 1-page transfer station depository list, we can duplicate that on the screen. And then it's just a matter of checking some boxes. So there's no learning curve, so to speak, except the fact that you have electronic instead of paper.
right.
That's my point.
Yeah, one of the things, working with our town treasurer, he already on a monthly basis reconciles the revenues that come from PermitLink as well. So it's the same technology, the same software, the same reports. So with every different piece of technology we have, we run the risk of having, many different layers that then responsible for reconciling every month. And he already reconciles all the PermitLink data, so this would blend right in, which is helpful.
In fact, I was very steadfast about making sure that the credit card company that we used interfaced with PermitLink, because I didn't want the users to go out of the software to a third party to do a credit card payment. So I was very adamant, and I tell you, it took me 1.5 years because I got a lot of pushback from admin on this.
Not for me, I wasn't here then.
No, I stood my ground. we succeeded, and now the treasurer may want to use the Permalink credit card company because he sees how user-friendly it is. So, the whole thing is you have to make this functional. If you don't make it functional, people aren't gonna use it. So
I apologize if it was already discussed. How much are you paying percentage wise?
I negotiated a contract without a percentage because I was against that.
Okay,
We pay a flat rate, $1,000 per user. I pay $5,000 for my department. It started off at a 20% percentage take. Well, if you do 20% of the numbers of local receipts I take in, that's a lot of money.
right.
So in order to get that deal, I had to do a buy-in at the beginning, which cost $9,000. That allowed them to build the software. And then I pay a $5,000 user fee per year. The percentage is off the table.
Okay,
So
thanks.
All set with the, thank you very much for the update information. Review, discuss, act, recommendation to the Board of Health / Board of Selectmen regarding organization structure.
Yes, so the Board of Health and the Selectmen have been meeting for, I believe, the better part of the last 3 months now. To assess the operational responsibilities, needs and challenges like of the Board of Health, and to discuss a framework that really meets basically our modern day operations and requirements and so forth. The next meeting between the Board of Health and the Selectmen is December 12th. And the prior meetings, the meetings have focused and tried to break down the various responsibilities currently under the Board of Health. So we had one meeting a few weeks ago dedicated to the Board of Health, the stormwater responsibilities. We had another meeting, a focus on emergency prep and ACO. And there was another meeting where we had representatives from the Mass Association of Health Boards in as well. The meeting on the 12th, one of the focuses is on solid waste in the transfer station, and what we wanted to really see if this group had any feedback on if over the last 6 months that we've been meeting that we have any recommendations about how we might be able to either streamline the solid waste and transfer in the transfer station responsibilities under whatever structure, or just whether or not we had any real takeaways at this point. And rather having it we're a group of 9, what really we didn't want to go into the meeting is having really 9 different consensus where we really don't have any unified anything. We wanted to just really touch base now. We could, so if there is a common thread or theme that we have, that we would be able to present that to the meeting on the 12th, or maybe we don't have a theme yet, or a recommendation forward, and that's okay. But we just wanted to check in, so we were able to get whatever we might want to have on the table at the meeting on the 12th. So.
Well, I think it should be more of an update than anything else. We haven't really established a lot of recommendations that
Don't disagree.
I don't think we're necessarily ready to go to the Board of Selectmen with concrete stuff.
That makes sense.
But as far as opinions on whether it should be transferred to Highway Department, I think that's still out there, isn't it?
Yeah, no, and I just want to make sure, I threw it out there that was my interpretation. I don't think we're ready, but what we didn't want to get into, on the meeting of the 12th, was we a committee that is gonna make a recommendation, and we didn't. I want one person to have this recommendation, another person,
Right.
to potentially have another. Like without any type of discussion first here. I mean, and I think if we're not ready, that's perfectly fine, but. Yeah, we can update on what. Like on what we have been doing for the last 6 months or so.
Well, I'll throw this out there. We've had discussions, we're sort of gelling as a committee. And we've had two motions this evening. I think we're starting to grow and realizing the scope of the task at hand. And we're having discussions with, as I said, we're voting on things. Let's see how that plays out for the next few meetings before we say we should be aligned under this or under that. But in terms of having discussed, there may be 9 different opinions here. We've discussed them, particularly with the stickers. We discussed them. We came to an agreement, we voted, and that recommendation will go to the Board of Selectmen. So I think that's the way a committee is supposed to function. And as I said, we're growing. And I think we'll reach a point where we say, we really should be aligned here. It's my view. That makes perfect sense.
No, I think at this point, I would concur, not to repeat. I think at the 12th, it's just an update. Progress that the committee is making, but it's much too early to make any recommendation as to where solid waste should be.
And I think that's what the selectmen are looking for. But I don't think we're ready.
Or when we are, we'll let you know. And it'll be bumped on, it'll be based on.
I think this is all based on our point of service, everything that you've been doing the last 6 months.
Right.
And it isn't finalized yet, so I don't think you can make a recommendation until that's all finalized and you get a lot more data, so.
That was easy.
Thank you, Mr. Mullin. Any more comments or anything? No? Okay. Moving on, review, discuss, act, rejected mattresses. So when Mr. Borders came and picked up the mattresses that were in the bulky waste bin, I believe he's getting charged with $125 per mattress unless it's torn up completely, the stuffing's ripped out, the metal in the metal wood's where it belongs. So right now I am putting rejected mattresses on the side of the shipping container, because if I put like wet, like essentially wet mattresses, sometimes the water will leak, and I don't want the mattresses that are in good condition getting recycled. I don't want them turning bad, nor do I want to put bed bugs in with good mattresses. I'm not really sure what we're doing with the rejected mattresses. If we need to shred it up, if the town's going to take the fee, or
Charge a different fee.
Okay, so
So deep, just to throw, the DP said if the mattress is rejected, you throw it in with the bulky and off it goes. The problem is the receiver for the bulky is saying, if there's a mattress in there, I'm charging $125 for it.
okay. So we've implemented the mattress program, right? We have the compact box in the right location. We're charging the new fee. Are we charging the new fee?
Yeah.
Okay. So now the concern, the question is, what do we do with a mattress that can't go to Ace Recycling and has to go into the waste stream? And the cost for that, according to you, is $125.
Yeah, that's what Mr. Borges is.
Right.
Mr. Borges is cool.
So I'm guessing you're inspecting the mattresses as it comes in? Okay. So do we have a recyclable mattress cost and a non-recyclable mattress cost? Now that we know that it's costing triple the amount that we thought. And is there another way for us to get rid of these aside from dismantling them ourselves? I'm asking.
That's a lot of work. Right now, Borges could take it and he could dismantle it for us. before it got discharged, but his fee is gonna be more than the $40 that we're charging.
Is it less than the 125?
I didn't ask him the price, but that he could do it. The problem is, it's a matter of, it's one mattress a week, it's one thing, but if we're dealing with a lot of mattresses, then it's not, but this gets into, we don't know how many we got, because we've only been doing this for what, 3 weeks now?
Yeah, a couple of weeks. Right now, there's about 31 to 32 good mattresses in that shipping container that can be reused. As far as rejected mattresses, I think there was 6 or 7, not include, that was one that Mr. Ferry's men did. Yep, go ahead.
So I need to fully understand this. You said you've been doing this for 3 weeks and we have.
When did anybody recall when the mattress, November?
1st. Okay. So 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
We have 30 mattresses. That far exceeds the number of mattresses that was told to us that we take.
Well, we believe that what's happening is there's a lot of people that have relatives in other towns that the fees are so high, they're using Dayton as their disposal area.
But you're right, Jim. It is in about, yeah.
It's double what we thought.
Yeah, so it's almost, one day, one Saturday, I have 5 mattresses.
But it's also the month after or the weeks after the DR mattress sale.
Yeah,
It's
that's a big
always
thing,
spiking
too.
on mattresses.
That's a big thing too. The wet ones, are they coming in off the side of the roads? Do you know?
I couldn't tell you.
But I'm,
Sometimes people.
No, I don't think the highway's picking any up.
No,
Okay.
sometimes people be like, oh, this was in my truck overnight or trailer. It rained,
oh,
so.
well,
Well, let me ask you this. When someone comes in with a mattress, do you have, not putting a finger up, but do you have a set of criteria that says this is a usable mattress, this is a non-usable mattress that, and you can say that's been approved by Board of Health or somebody, and you can say to that individual, bring it in, I'm rejecting this mattress for these reasons.
Yeah.
Do we have that?
Yeah, so right now, we cannot take a mattress that has bed bugs, moldy, or excessively wet.
And this is DEP guidance.
No,
Yeah, no, it's not our rules. it's
Okay,
DEP,
so,
yeah.
so we have that, okay. That rejected mattress. Do you have the capability to say, okay, it costs us, the taxpayers, $125, therefore your fee is $125, you being the person that brings it in.
I wouldn't want to be John.
No, I'm trying to drive to a point here.
Right.
That rejected mattress. What happens to it? Because it's an individual is going to pay for it. No, they're not. They're going to drive back out and probably throw it on the side of the road. Okay, and then Tom's folks pick it up. So is there another way, another outlet for this rejected mattress to go that is the most cost-effective way to dispose of it? It's just, I don't know the answer to that.
We could tear it up ourselves, but that's just gonna take time.
But one of the big things.
In more another body.
One of the big things that I think happens with mattresses, is people put it outside and then it gets wet and rained on before it gets brought in, and that's when everything's happening. It's not in their house that it's the problem. It's that it's taking them too long to get it from their house to the transfer station. So, education is part of it, because this is kind of all new, because we used to take every mattress up until a couple weeks ago. And as part of it, should we charge even just a moderate fee extra so that people know that, hey, if you don't get it down here soon, it's gonna be an extra $20, something like that.
Okay, so there's an education piece. Okay, that has to get out to, broadcast generally. But so that's one part of the solution. But what happens to that mattress that somebody brings in that's still rejected? What's going to happen? I'm not trying to kill an issue here, but we need to know what's going to happen to it, because I just envision it ending up on the side of the road. Is there some way, and then that's $120, $125, right? Is there some way we can recoup part of that without breaking the bank, without somebody just saying, never mind, and then going up Tremont Street?
Do we can cut it up ourselves? That is an option. I didn't say it was the one that we wanted to do. I'm just saying it's an option.
That's probably the more money saving one, right?
So So I think this can be fixed through education, because what I heard, unless you're incorrect, is that the mattresses came in from a taxpayer, they were left out in the elements, and therefore, I'm assuming that it was just wet ones, we didn't have any bed bug issues or.
No, not yet. Mold is, or stain, I should say. Mold or stain is kind of
Okay.
a big one.
Okay, so those are out in the elements, so to speak. So what did we do to educate the public? Did
We haven't done any. This has only happened last week.
Yeah.
So. That we found out about
But
this.
we implemented the program November 1st, and
We did.
everyone knew that Ace Recycling pretty much mirrored the DEP requirements. No bed bugs,
Yep.
no staining, no wet. So we didn't do any kind of Facebook thing or anything like that.
No,
But that's part of it. We said that, right?
So we have a draft press release ready to go now, but like last week is actually ready to go last week, but then with the holiday.
Okay,
So we have something prepared to go out there.
Yes.
so when is it gonna go out?
Electronically?
Probably by tomorrow afternoon.
Okay, so let's try that.
See what happens.
See
Okay.
what happens.
I think the question that I'm trying to ask is if I work
Right.
on Saturday or one of Tom's men
Mhm.
looks on a Wednesday. Mattress comes in, what do we do? Throw it in the dumpster? Do we put it off to the side for now? Like what,
Mhm.
what, I don't know what to do. And I think that's the answer that I'm looking for.
I think there has to be a penalty for someone who's careless. Now, irregardless of whether you're educated or not, throwing a mattress outside, I don't know. To the average person, is that a problem? I don't know. Maybe they don't know. They don't know, right?
No, they don't know that maybe.
However, after we do the social media blast and we get some public, public information, yeah. Do I think there should be a penalty for someone who still brings in a mattress? Absolutely. Do I think it can be the 125? No, I don't.
No.
Because I think that's gonna send us spiraling in the wrong direction.
Just out of curiosity, since the price mattresses and boxing have increased, have you seen any on the side of the road?
Just the one that's been on Brook Street before that.
So there's
So
no,
any load that you reject. You're taking their plate number down and hopefully taking a picture if you're able to, right?
I haven't rejected.
No, we've talked about this before.
Yeah,
Right.
if I need to, yes.
Yes, because we have stiff fines throughout the towns depending where they do dispose of it.
Oh, I get what you mean. Take the picture and then when you find it later on, there it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Must have a number on it, right?
So I guess the question is, and I'm not trying to move on, what happens right now? We gotta do the public information. That has to happen.
Mhm.
Do we let this ride until our next meeting and see if it continues at the rate it is? And if it does,
What happens though, his question is, what happens to those that he has on hand?
well, I don't think we
Right
have an
now.
option.
so first off, I'll say Ace Mattress hasn't come to do a pickup yet, so we don't know what their threshold is. Something that John is rejecting may still be okay for them and it may not. But if we're gonna be giving it to Borges and he's gonna cut it up, I think we still need to keep it as dry as we can to avoid it getting even more wet. So somehow we gotta keep it
Put it under a top or something.
dry, yeah.
I mean,
Somehow.
we could put it underneath, well, no, we don't want to put it where the donation clothes are for
How
that.
about a top? Do you have a good sturdy top you could put it under?
You're packing the mattresses obviously to the rear and then moving forward, right? So.
Yeah,
He's putting them in the front and climbing over.
So we have 2, 4 mattresses that you rejected, I think you said 5. Could you put them in the front of the box?
those 5 mattresses, they're gone. Borges just took it. That's when I found out about
Oh,
the
okay.
one.
But Jim's asking, could you put them in the front of the container if you're
We
putting
have
the
to
good
put them
ones
in
in
the
the
front
back?
and the side, and I'm gonna have to lift up that back just in case.
Because it's pitched toward the back right now, so if they're wet, it'll run towards all the other mattresses.
Unless we can level the dumpster, that might be.
Yeah, we'll level it. We just had a quick discussion. We'll level it.
Okay.
So could you do that? And that'll keep them dry and then we'll see what happens when Ace comes down. And then we'll see if this social media blast helps.
I could, but what if somebody had bed bugs?
Well, you can't put that one in the trail. That one's,
Yeah.
nobody wants to touch that one.
Before you reject the load, before they know where you're going, you already take a picture.
Okay.
Because they will drive out pretty quick when they know you want to know what they have and plate number and all.
So this point of sale, you'll be able to take a picture with every load that comes in, I would think, right?
Right? Yeah, because it'll be on an iPad. Yeah.
Because $500 is $500 fine, and we have $1,000 fine around.
So bed
In their
bugs,
best interest to dispose of it correctly.
bed bugs is a public health hazard. It goes right in the dumpster. Has to be disposed of. You can't do anything else with that. even if we decided to rip mattresses apart, some down the road, some way, we decide, let's do it all in-house. You can't have an attendant or a worker deal with a mattress that has bed bugs. Cannot,
Couldn't remember where any bed bugs, just toss in the bulky bin and we'll just take the hit.
it has to.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it has to, or be burnt, and we can't do that.
We Put it on the brush pile.
Yeah,
So then should I document that data?
Yes, that's all part of that report that you're doing for every mattress. Yep.
Yeah. You know, I don't know how far the health department wants to go with this, but if you have someone getting rid of a bed a mattress that has bed bugs, there might be another issue that we need to deal with.
that's right.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, it should be collecting that data.
definitely, yeah.
And
Let's
it's
go about it.
not, and just so everyone at home knows, it isn't that we want to, you know, come down on you, it's just, we might be able to offer you some help, that's all.
Right, right.
Also,
Mhm.
so we have about 10 minutes left. Would it be okay to table the compost bin till our next meeting? And that way, if anybody has any open discussion, then we can schedule the next meeting. That way, we're not running out of time.
Okay, I just want to mention something about the compost then. Today I looked up a couple of different things, and there is a thing out there that for $25, people, and we get a grant towards this. There are, can I have that? These are two different collection, private collection. In other words, people come to the Board of Health, $25 or $65 if there's one there too, and $165. And it's the special compost bin you put in your backyard for your own vegetables, for your own flowers. You put your food in, food waste. And it can include bones, shells, corn cobs, tea bags, coffee grounds, all meats, eggs, and fish. I was reading some of the articles today from different towns, and it can be a total of 18% of what they put in the garbage that we pick up and have to pay to get rid of. So if they buy, and it's only 25, I guess there's a grant out there. I haven't had time. I only spent 2 hours on this. $25, they put it in their backyard and they get their compost for their yards. And a lot of people like that stuff. Because otherwise they have to go buy it at a Rujo's or all these other places. And it's expensive to get really good material. And plus that keeps it out of our transfer
A
station.
lot of people are already doing it with the education component. You can encourage it, use this as an incentive to get more people to do it, yes.
Exactly. And there's some brochures out there. Sure which town that was. And the other thing it's something to toss up in the air, and it's basically a couple of towns who used it. It's called a deposit trailer. And what it is there's an area and you have nonprofit comes in like the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the band of DR, whatever. And they have a plastic bottle drive and they keep all the profits. So they're there, they take care of it, they take everything in, they sell it and keep the money. But that stuff is not going into our dumpsters for us to pay to get rid of. That's another thing that they're doing. Just little things there that we can save money at the other end. Just toss up in the air.
They just bottles with a deposit
Yeah,
in order to get money.
it's just like, yeah,
So all the
we
water.
don't pay, yeah.
We
They
did
don't,
that with Boy Scouts. We had to deal with the Lopes field.
Yeah.
And we had special bins just big enough to put a bottle in. And then we would take them and
right,
go get our cash for them.
and
A
so,
lot of,
just toss it up in the air, any group that wants to be available and do it. And then they're responsible for this week or next week or that week.
And so Berkeley, it's every month is a different nonprofit.
Yeah,
And they usually get somewhere between $600 and $800 a month.
and it's not going into our trash to get rid of. So that's another thing to think of in the future. And it also makes the transfer station look like little heroes. You know, like, hey, we're raising money for nonprofits here, you guys, so. But yet they don't know they're helping us out. Just something. And I only spent 2 hours on it today. I'm feeling better, so. I'll get more info on those little private stations.
Thank you for the information.
I was bored.
Yeah.
Bored and feeling better, so.
Mr. Mullen, before we wrap things up, did you have anything to stuff? I remember at the beginning of the meeting, you wanted to mention something really quick.
Yeah, one of the things, like, and I think, the discussion, tonight and all the things we're trying to balance really brought it to a head. And I know in prior meetings we've been, talking about, I know the Board of Health has talked about it, but based on what we're trying to do, I think for the next meeting, like we should, discuss adding, like, and even going to the reserve fund if we have to, making a request to the reserve fund to consider adding a second attendant, even if it is for Saturdays. Like, I think the volume, I think the amount of activity that we have like up at the transfer station right now really lends to it. And I just think the more time goes on, the more like, especially with regards to the CMR Capins, like enforcement, I do think, I mean, if we could have that added to the agenda for the next meeting, I think it would be timely.
Todd relayed a story to me today. I think it may have had to do with you, but why don't you relate it about that one piece of material that went in that changed the whole price on that dumpster?
Oh, if somebody puts something in like construction debris or sheetrock or something that doesn't belong and they drop it in the dumpster, we have to get it out, or when we get it to the other end, they'll charge us more. So having somebody up at those bins, to make sure they're putting it in the right bin or don't put it in.
That's a cost savings.
Yeah, it's needed. So with that, Mr. Mullen, would that be projected sooner than July?
Yes.
Definitely, we can get more detail.
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
next
I
meeting.
think they really need that. Just a little watchdog up there. Somebody nice and sweet. Tommy, want to be a watchdog?
What does it pay?
Oh, sky's the limit, Tommy.
It's,
We can discuss that there.
that's gonna happen when we get the senior work off program.
All
I'm
right.
gonna go around and check the recycle bin to make sure it's all.
Oh, Recycle IQ, yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is there any chance, I don't know who's taking minutes, if anybody?
Yes, I am.
Michael.
Could you send me previous meeting minutes so I can
Absolutely.
at least try to catch up to?
They've all been recorded, so you could watch the video too if you were.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, yeah, I don't like,
They're riveting. I mean,
would
the
rather-
minutes won't do it justice.
I would rather
Yeah.
read them. Yeah,
When's that?
I'll see if they match with the video.
So we need to have a motion to table that compost.
Oh, yeah.
I would make a motion that we table the compost and discussion until next meeting.
A second.
All those in favor?
Right.
So schedule next meeting. So if we're going by the fourth Monday of every month forward at 4. The next meeting would be the day after Christmas, I believe. So.
Is that a holiday though?
Yeah, would be an event holiday. Yeah.
So I know that probably won't work for most. I'm not sure when you guys want to meet again.
Well, Christmas.
Yeah.
No,
Are you a Scrooge?
no.
Come on.
27, 28.
So I can have.
Calendar out.
28th.
20th, yeah, the second of meeting right now. I mean, I know
Well, that's a holiday too, though, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
It'll be New Year's.
but New Year's will be celebrated probably on the following Monday.
Yeah.
It's because it's a Sunday holiday.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's.
And yeah, that week is probably tricky just with staff scheduling. I mean, I know just in terms of me, I hope to take a little bit of time that week. That's just me.
Does anybody want to meet, take a break and meet in January, or do you feel like we should meet in December?
Yeah, we also have the 16th off, so it'd have to be the 9th in January. I don't have a problem with that because holidays only come once a year, so we're gonna be together the entire year next year.
Is everybody else okay with that?
16th is a holiday, you mean?
16th
Martin
is
Luther
what-
King Day.
Yeah,
16th in January.
so the 9th.
A ninth works for me.
It's fine for me.
So January 9th, 4 o'clock,
Sure.
works for everybody?
Okay,
Yeah.
Peter?
Yeah,
Except-
today I
Okay.
had something scheduled.
Okay. Any, oops,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
What about public input?
yeah,
Oh,
any,
sorry.
Yeah.
any public input?
Yeah, I just want to throw out one thing. Cardboard used to be free for us to get rid of. We just paid Boyd just to haul it for us. As of last week, we are now being charged to dispose of cardboard because nobody wants it. So that is now like $100 a ton for us to get rid of, where it was free before.
Well, that's fine.
That's what's going on. Everybody's increased prices or charging for things
Yeah.
they never charged for because of the economy. Can't be beaten,
No.
can't keep biting the bullet on it, so.
We do get a lot of cardboard, because I think, 1/3 of the users use it for at least recyclables.
Amazon,
And
you get it from Amazon.
Oh, right.
yeah, one of the things, to Tom's point, with, I mean, the solid waste budget in total of $850,000, these increased cost and fees. I mean, this is, like every day that goes by, it's eating, more and more into the town's financial position. Very, very significantly. I mean, just in FY 23 alone, the $100,000 increase, that had a profound effect when you consider the renewal, you did the tipping fees down in Rochester. And I mean, we're on track really based on the 3-year contract to probably likely come close to having the same thing happen in 24 as well. So it's, with solid waste, there's definitely a sustainability issue. Like if we continue operating within the general operating budget, it really is, and it's actually quite frightening.
Is
That's,
this something that we need to talk about on our next meeting, is the cardboard situation?
I think so.
I'm just pleased that, to follow on with that one of the threads that we're following here is cost avoidance. As opposed to trying to make money, et cetera, that the cost avoidance is key piece, and you hear numbers like this, the less that goes in, the less you
I
pay.
think that's the big key. Less that goes in. We don't have to pay for it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
when they come in, now, if they have metals, do you point them, is there a metals pile there?
Mhm.
So we can.
If you want to go down there
prices down.
on a Wednesday or Saturday, anybody can give you a tour. I gotta go there
Stop
Wednesday.
over every once in a while.
I gotta go Wednesday to train the whoever's gonna be there from the highway department.
I think I'm gonna really take a tour down to Mashpee, though. I really want to see what they're doing down there. They look like they're really ahead of the game.
I don't want to.
Mashpee has money.
Damn right they have money. That's why they have money, because they're saving it in their transfer station.
Let's make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
All those in favor?
everybody.
Meeting has been adjourned.
Gonna end the meeting.
Okay.
Hang on, we're still being recorded. We're still being recorded.